Greetings, Midnight Sun here. Hopefully you guys doing well. Disclaimer. Before I even continue, if you guys are not comfortable hearing ghost stories, haunted house, this motherfucker. This motherfucker. As soon as I fucking start recording, this fucking coworker just came out and started doing push-ups. Fucking making fun of me. Because you guys didn't know, I like to do my workouts during my 10-minute break here at the parking lot. Cause I don't like sitting down unless I have to, like, to rest. Anyway, so before I even continue with this story, if you guys are not comfortable with horror stories or ghost demon stories, then I suggest for you guys to leave, because this might be a little bit too much for you. And before I even continue after this, I hope that this entity does not come after any of you guys at all. At all. This is just this is not coming from me. This is coming from my mother and brother, that till this day they refuse to even speak any further. They only told me a tip of the iceberg, as the saying, and even that they do not wish to continue further. This was back when I was in university. I'm gonna say between 13 to 14 the year. At the time we were all living in another apartment. So there were signs that my mother would mention, like, this apartment smells like shit, right? Or something died. And she, for the whole month, I remember my mother forced me and my brother we gotta fucking clean up and find that source of whatever smells like fucking dead. Cause she was thinking it was probably like a rat died or something, And every time we do a whole quick search of cleaning up the apartment, there would be nothing, dude. What she has noticed is that at the time in the living room, behind the TV, she would clean up this this corner, and it's looked like burnt smoke. She would clean it up, and a month after it will reappear again, and that's how it was. So she was like, what the fuck, and I didn't even care about it. Now, when I'm only going to be there in the apartment, I forgot to mention, at the time I was in the dorms, but I'll be visiting every the weekends, and the weekends I'll help her out clean up. So my mistake on my part. This was before how all three of us got into spiritualism, and who I am today. At the time I was atheist. My mother was super Christian, and so was my brother. And this is before where we all started, most of you guys would be freaked out, but before all of us started doing rituals, is witchcraft, whatever the fuck you guys want to call it. Okay? And this happened to them at night. So I must tell you guys on my brother's perspective, and I will tell you guys my mother's perspective. So my brother, based on what he told me, is he saw some shit like smoke, but it's like blackish smoke. You guys know how when there's fire, it started with gray, but on the tip it'd be black? So he saw that flying across from the living room to the bathroom, because the doorway of the room was open. Now, I don't remember, because there's a saying too. If you guys like to sleep with your front door open, don't fucking do that. Remain your front door closed at all times. Even if it's the hottest summer, remain that shit closed at all times. I don't. So my thing is, I don't remember if they have their front door open, but it was something that at the time we were used to it. So I don't remember if that night they had their front door open. So my brother was, he saw that shit, and I was like, what? Like he was shocked to see something like, like some ghost or some entity, some shit. Then it came directly straight at him. Got on top of him and started fucking choking him. Now, this is not a dream. This fucking thing happened to him like real life. He swore to him on his life, on Christ, that this shit happened to him real life event. Now, as this is going, now I'm going to go switch to my mother's perspective. On my mother's perspective, this was to her a nightmare. What she saw, she like woke up in a sleep paralysis state, but she still had the ability to move. But it was more like it was toying with her. When she saw it, at first all she saw was like this blackish figure, like a shadow. But it was on top of the ceiling. Then it started like, either float down or climb down. She was confused because it's almost like there's no flesh. Because you guys know the Grim Reaper? The Grim Reaper on his black cloak. So she saw like something like that, and what she saw, it was directly at the ceiling. Then it started like, either float down or climb down. Because all she saw was like, the cloth of it, I guess. Because she said it was nothing but smoke, but she could see a little bit of the cloth and start climbing down. Like the movements was climbing down, but it seems like it was floating down too. Then it got on top of her as well and started choking her. As my brother was fighting, so now I'm going back to my brother. Now keep in mind, this happened my brother's like real time event. He was not dreaming, while my mother was dreaming about it. So whatever the fuck this thing was, it was attacking both my brother and mother at the same time, but in different I guess world. Our world and the dream world. My brother was able to get that shit off of it, I guess. Or I guess it must have seen my brother was not afraid of it at a certain point and decided to let him go. And did the exact same thing to my mother and decided to let her go as well. When my mother woke up, my brother's face was pale. And my mother was very pissed at my brother at the time. And she was like, why the fuck didn't you wake me up? And my brother was like, it's because you had to fight it. My mother was shocked and did not understand what the fuck he was trying to say. But that night, they did not mention any further, except they both went back to bed, or attempt to go back to sleep. Based on what they told me, on the next morning, they both talked about what happened. And both agreed to say, you know what? I'm going to draw, and you draw. They have not once mentioned what they seen at all. This is key detail. Not one of them exchanged word of what happened that night, what they saw, nothing. So they both drew, and then took them like a couple minutes to draw what they saw. When they were done, they exchanged, and they both were so shocked that it's described that they both saw the same thing, just that she saw it on the dream and he saw it in real life. So in my opinion, I think this was actually like a demon, or probably a bad spirit. And I guess I will say is that ever since that night, we have not me at least, because I didn't I didn't experience any of that horrible shit that happened to me. But even to this day, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to mention it. They're that afraid to even mention it. You know? I'm only telling you guys this because it's like there are fucking horrible things out there, you know, in the spiritual world. Just as there is God, there is the serpent, there is the devil. There are evil spirits. And say what you guys want to say, but I do think witchcraft, crystals, all these things are just tools that you could use for the good or bad, you know? Holy water is even a tool. It's not just for, purifying. It could also be used for cleansing or fortifying your home. Things like that. And my lecture to you guys is get in tap with your spirit, learn, and learn how to protect yourself. I hope that you guys are doing well. I also pray and that nothing like this ever happens to you guys, like what happened to my mother and brother. Because no one deserves to go through that shit, honestly. Like, even me right now mentioning about it, it's just like, if it only scares me to lose them over something like this. And my stupid ass at the time was still being atheist, like, nah, I don't believe that shit. Or maybe I did believe it, but it's like I still didn't, believe in Christ. But I knew there was like more than just one religion, It's confusing for me to say it, but it's just that the way I think now is like, okay, now it makes sense here. Okay, now it makes sense here and then and there. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'm sorry if this shit scares you. And hopefully, All Father is able to protect you and remove this negative entity out of your life. Peace and prosperity be with you. Remember, All Father believes in you. Oh man, I messed up again. Believe in yourself as All Father believes in you. Thank you guys.